Welcome. In today's video I'm going to be looking at vintage and antique things that I've collected that I'm going to be placing in the first finished room of our renovation cottage.
A little different than all the rest. I'm quite old-fashioned, wear a hat, sometimes play chess. And when I'm out, I'm looking for that vintage fling.
Because we've had a power outage all day, I decided to just start thinking about the bits and pieces that I've collected and what I'm going to use in the cinema room. We have this weekend a full-on DIY, and then my friend is visiting for the weekend after. I'm really hoping that we can bring it all together by then, keeping everything crossed. So with that in mind, I started to look at things that I've collected since living here at Star Corner to see what is going to make its way into the cinema room. There's a mood board which I'm working to. I've collected antique and vintage pieces for this moment for years. Now it's time to start collating exactly what is going to go in there. I hope you can see me. There's only a photography light behind the camera, so I hope it's not too dark. With these dark days, it's really difficult to film. Let's crack on. There's not a lot of surface space in the cinema room. There'll be a coffee table, there's a window ledge, and there'll also be a trestle table, which the main function of that is to have the television on. We've currently also got a unit, which at some point I will sell, but for now there is space on top of the unit as well. Let's show you what I've been collecting and where it's going to go. Let's start off with the window area. I really like to have a table light in the window. For days like today, when I don't want to draw my curtains yet, not everyone's in from work and college, and I don't want to draw the curtains, but it is really dark, and therefore I like to have a light on in the window. This converted beer pump was something that I bought a couple of years ago. I was on my own, really liked it, I like the shape of it. If you follow this channel, you'll know that I do like black pieces of furniture and black within my decor. This just fitted perfectly. I've already got one lamp in the window in the living room, and therefore I wanted something of a similar size, and this is the only one that is of a similar size. And also at some point Mark picked up two lampshades. One of them was already in the living room, and then this one. They were brand new, matching. I wouldn't draw the curtains with the lamps on, but it does mean, because of the shape of these, we can draw the curtains and it doesn't knock the lampshade off. I dabble in antiques, and my new website is currently under construction, and the two things that I'm about to show you are things that are both available, or will both be available, on my website. And that's one of the joys about the job that I do. I can integrate the things that I'm selling into my home and really enjoy them and be the caretaker of them for the time that I have them, and then they go off to their new home and I can replace it with something else. But very often I hang on to things for quite a while, which is the case of these two things. These have never been available for sale, but they will be on the new website. These live in the living room at the moment. In our old cottage, we have sash windows and there is a mid-bar, and these two live on the mid-bar looking out into the garden, or sort of facing each other slightly with an eye on the garden. And then to mirror that, in the cinema room, which is, you've got the living room, front door, cinema room, with windows looking out onto the front garden. And therefore, I am going to put this beautiful brass dog on the crossbar in the cinema room. He's really handsome and I love him. I've been photographing him for my website, and I don't think he's going to hang around long. He's so beautiful. But until he does, he will live on the crossbar in the window. I'm going to keep you hanging on about this one. I know that many of you are intrigued. I'll tell you about that one later. Let's move on to the coffee table. I don't want to ram the coffee table with things. This is a family room. People want to be able to put their feet up on the coffee table. Lots of mugs and drinks. I'm going to keep it quite simple. And both of the things I'm going to show you are for Christmas, really. This was the 1950s Japanese bowl that I showed you the other week. I planted some paper whites in them. I've just got it out of a cold, dark space, and as you can see, they're growing nicely. I always like to pick up these little brass trays on the coffee table. That will just sit like that. And because it's Christmas, I will probably just put some glass decorations on the tray as well. And if I just pick this up, you'll see why I buy brass. I really like how it reflects in candlelight. You can see that the bowl and the brass tray just light up, and there will be lots of candles in the cinema room, as there is in every room. And then this, you're going to have to come closer for this. This is a Victorian scrapbook filled with old Christmas cards and postcards. Let me show you. I think you are going to love this. Look at the cover. It's quite tatty, but I'd be quite tatty if I was that age. Look at this. May happiness at this glad season rest with you and yours, a long remaining guest. It's nasturtiums. Nasturtiums at Christmas? It's all sorts of things. I love these ones. May Christmas bring contentment and great peace. Strike while the iron's hot. Look at this. See how Father Christmas lingers, dropping ice from all his fingers. And it just goes on and on and on. Oh, look at this one. A little envelope. Happy Christmas. Doesn't have anything on it. Look at this one. A Merry Christmas be yours. The clown has abstracted, oh what shall I do? The sausage and goose I intended for you. Isn't that really special? I love getting this out every year and leaving it on a coffee table. I'm just sitting down on a Sunday afternoon and flicking through it, looking at everything. It's just so nostalgic and romantic. There's some lovely romantic ones in there too. I love that. I can't even remember where Mark and I got this one from. It was quite some time ago and we both just fell in love with it. We're both really into Christmas. Not particularly at the moment in November, it's yet to kick in, but we love Christmas and this is just something really, really special. And who knows, maybe one day we can actually do something with it, but for now, it's just here for us to enjoy. That's the coffee table. Not going overboard at all. Got the window ledge sorted. Should we do walls? Mark really loves beautiful original art and I like obscure things on my walls. I'm sure we'll end up putting a picture somewhere. There is a picture that I have in mind, but in little spaces I am going to fill it up with all these little bits that I've been collecting for years. These are French clogs that will be on my website, but until they sell they will be perched on my wall. Aren't they lovely? I think you would put your foot on there and then have a leather strap tied around it. I'm sure somebody will correct me, but I'm pretty sure That's what you did with those. Those will be going on the walls. Now this I've had since my very, very, very first house. So 30 years ago I had this, a wooden letterpress block. L for Louisa, obviously. This has been just hanging around, leaning up places, but now this will definitely be wall mounted. There's a small strip of wall near the window and I am thinking about just filling it with things like this, just running down the strip. That's the idea anyway. Many, many years ago, we went into an artist's residence in Penzance. Can't remember what it's called now. But I saw on the walls lots of these cigar moulds. And subsequently, I have been collecting these ever since I saw that. And I want to create some sort of art installation on the wall with all of these. I'm not quite sure how to display them yet, but I do have a big collection. I have actually turned one into a vase. Have you seen that? Where you put them together and then put test tubes in there and then have single stems. I have done that with these before, but something else destined for the wall. I love all the texture and all the character that all these things are introducing. Not what you especially expect to find on the wall, but I do think they will look great. And the more I think about it, there's not really an obvious space to put art. There's not a space for a gallery wall. There's not a space for big pictures. So actually, I think using these items as infill is going to work really, really well. Not sure what Mark will think, but I'm sure he'll come round to the idea. He knows that I've been collecting these things. Hopefully he won't mind them now going up on the wall. He likes my style really, although I think we will have to have a piece of art somewhere. As we're talking about art, this will definitely be going into the cinema room. That's where it's been living ever since it arrived in the house. This was a gift from the girls to Mark for his 50th. It's Maple dressed as Lord Nelson. Obviously, Norfolk is Nelson's county. So good. Know exactly where that's going. That is going under a light in between the window and the front door. And whilst we're talking about things that are not antique or vintage, this was sent to me the other day. I've got a Christmas stocking to go in the cinema room. It's made out of waxed cotton on the back and then these gorgeous little squirrels. It actually came with the most fantastic waxed cotton skirt, which I'll show you another day. I was expecting the skirt but not the little stocking. Can't wait to put that up. If we can get the cinema room done before the 1st of December, I think I'm going to fill this with little advent gifts for the girls. Where are we? We've done the window area, we've done the coffee table, we've done walls. You've seen these a few times now. These are going to be converted into lamps and I'm making lampshades. That one is French, originally from a church, and that one is Moroccan. Quite different in style. They will sit on the long console table either side of the television. And I really like the fact that they're quite big. They're quite big for the room, but I think that in small rooms, go big. That's my advice. I've got lots of French confit pots. Many of them will go along the top of the cupboard. I'll go and show you some more in a minute, but I've already planted a white amaryllis, which has started to sprout in this confit pot. At this time of year, I do love amaryllis and paper whites and those sort of spring bulbs in my rooms. I don't know quite where this will go, but I'll definitely find a place for it somewhere, maybe on a little side table. Let me go and get some more confit pots and take a look at them all. I've got quite a collection of French confit pots, or graisse pots as they're called. I just love them. I love the fact that they're made of a natural material, so every single one has slightly different colour depending on the region that they came from, or the time at which they were made, or the glaze that was used. They're all slightly different. I think that collections of things work really, really well. All I will do is put them out like this. I love them to use as utensil holders, vases, or just decorative items in their own right. These are things that I sell on my website, and I can't get enough of them. They definitely deserve to be out on display rather than shoved in a cupboard somewhere. I couldn't even tell you how many I've got, probably about 12. Some are massive, some are smaller. They are going to be lined up on the top of the cupboard. I think the cupboard's up here, so they're just going to be up there. And the same with the brass. When candlelight's on or there is lamplight on, these just shine nicely and add texture and character to the room. The cinema room would not be complete without me mentioning the Wally dogs that have been living in my bedroom. They're definitely going to live somewhere, either on top of the cupboard with the comfy pots or on the side console table. Definitely need to find this one, a little Christmas bow to go with that one. I don't want to over clutter that room. It's a room with a front door that we walk through. It's a room that we want to enjoy as a family. Now I've got the mood board, I just want to add things that are going to complement the room but not be overbearing. I need to find a log basket. I was absolutely gutted. I put a bid in my local auction for the most fantastic log basket, which actually looked like the one on my mood board. And I thought that I'd put in a really generous bid, but I didn't get it. So the search for a log basket goes on, but that doesn't have to be in place in a couple of weeks' time. But now I am sure that you are dying to know what these are. This is French. It has a weave underneath and covered in a sort of mud, dung, clay. Show you the underneath. It dates to around the 1880s, 1920s, 30s. Most likely to originate from northern to central France, probably Normandy or Picardy. And it's a bee skep. And these were used before the more modern beehives, and I can date it to that because around the 1920s, 30s, wooden beehives were coming in. And actually in many countries now, you're not allowed to use bee skeps because to actually inspect the hive, you would damage it. The only way to access it was to lift it off. And therefore these are illegal to use these days, which now just gives them the purpose of being decorative. We've got a pair, something else that is for sale on my website. I did have a lady once who was very, very keen to have it sent to America, but I just couldn't risk that. If I ever sold it in this country, I would have to hand deliver. This is firmly fixed on, but can you imagine it going by a courier all the way to America? It just doesn't bear thinking about. But there we go. They are French antique bee skeps. And until they sell, I'm very, very happy to keep them as decorative items in the cinema room on my side console table. Aren't they amazing? Really amazing. I'm so pleased that I've gone through that process today. It's now dark outside. I hope you can see me. But it's really interesting to see it all coming together and all the things that I've been collecting and knew in my head exactly how I wanted it to look. It's now all falling into place. I've paid for the sofas that I bought at auction the other week. I haven't heard back from the courier. I must chase the courier. I've got a very busy DIY weekend this weekend. We've got a lot on the list, but we've got a whole weekend with no other plans. We're just going to plough on and see how we get on. So excited now. What an exciting time just before Christmas to pull our first room together that will be totally done. I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you for watching, and I will see you again next time. Bye for now.